Hello and welcome to All For United with me, John Foster, MUFC. We've got a full house today. We've got loads of people here. I'll introduce everybody shortly. Who thought that international breaks would actually be so exciting? It seems really lots of things going on in the past couple of weeks. Let's say hello to everybody. Natalie, welcome back. How are you keeping, mate?
Yeah, just doing good. Having a little break, I think, after everything. But, it's good to be back this weekend. It's going to be a good weekend.
Absolutely. Well, speaking about this weekend, we've got Chloe on the show as well, a supporter. How are you, Chloe?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. I'm a little bit more excited about the game now that we've had a bit of a break, so that's a good thing. Ben, how are you doing, mate?
I'm really well, mate. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. I've had a bit of a relaxing one today, so not too bad. And Matt, how are you keeping?
Yeah, good, thanks, pals. Like Nat, now looking forward to getting back to some league games at the weekend and getting rid of these internationals.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Just before we start, Ben and Matt, you did a show on Saturday, didn't you, on our Twitter account? How was that?
Good.
Was on it really well.
A bit, but it was good when it Ben. It was good to relive it. Got some good feedback, and people seemed to interact well and enjoy it. I think it's currently, in terms of playbacks, our second highest. Obviously, after our show last week that we did. So yeah, numbers are looking good on the Twitter lives now.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I caught the first half, and it was really good. So if you haven't seen that and want to, just go to our Twitter page and just scroll down, and you'll be able to see a little bit of the Ben and Matt show. Look, we've got a few things to talk about. So we want to talk about Natalie and Ben's view on this potential new signing that was breaking news last week. We want to discuss a little bit else what's happened in the international break regarding the friendly that happened against Sheffield, and also the Hayley Ladd contract and the Mary Earth contract. A lot's gone on, and also a few games and a few goals that have been scored in between. And then the second half of the show, Villa preview. So can't wait for that one. I'm feeling a bit more excited about that game now. So Natalie, I'm seeing you're smiling. Are you feeling a bit more confident going into that game, first of all?
Yeah, I'm still a bit nervous, still a bit, because I think I said before it was two losses in a row. But I'm excited because they bounced back. They obviously, I think a lot of people, we were saying no matter who we would have played after that City game, it's like we're on a bad run, and I think the international break has just broken it up a bit. We've come back, played against Sheffield, we've won. Obviously people say you expected to win against Sheffield, but it was good to get the goals in the bag. Nice win at home, and then we're playing Villa again at home. So for me, it's a good thing, and I'm just like Matt says, I've had enough now of internationals. I want to get back and support the girls.
Do you feel that this break has kind of lifted us a little bit, whether it be the fans or the players? Because I feel so much more lifted than I did before the international break, and I think it's just what we needed, and it's kind of what we asked for. I mean, do you feel that way, Nat? Yeah,
definitely. I think they've gone away. A lot of them have won a lot of games. Jackie got a goal. I mean, we're talking about all the people that scored. Jane Ross scored 2. Hansen scored. Hansen assisted. All different kind of things. And, Tooney got a goal, got a save. These things will add confidence to the girls. So, like I said before, we're in a bad mood. We were, losing games. It doesn't help confidence. Whereas this, going away, coming back, confidence should be high. Now we've won a game. A lot of probably the international didn't play, but we saw that little video. The encouraging the other girls that have been here, and they won. And it's just getting used to being back at home, home game. Fans weren't at the Sheffield game, but fans aren't going to be at Villa either. So it's just getting back into the groove of it. For me, I'm happy.
And Matt, do you think the confidences will have grown now in the last couple of weeks? Because coming out of the Man City game, to me, we just looked deflated mentally and physically. But to me now, I think we've got that spring in our step a little bit now.
I'd like to think so, yeah. I think, those that have gone away in internationals have pretty much, had some sort of success and made debuts or scored goals and won games. So I think that'll be good for confidence. And sort of the ones that haven't been involved have done a bit of training and had a bit of rest. So hoping now, just come Sunday, refreshed squad, better mentally, hopefully better physically, and we'll see what the game brings.
Ben, you looking forward to the Villa game now?
Absolutely, mate. You know my thoughts on international football and international breaks, pal. I just can't wait to get stuck back in again, back into the league. Let's get back to winning ways. And it's just good to see United on the field to play again, mate. I miss it. It's not the same watching international football compared to watching your club team. Club over country all the time for me, mate. I don't have that same passion for international football. So it's good to be finally back after, 3 long weeks now. Those 3 weeks are dragged as well. So it'd be good to see United back again. I'm buzzing for it.
Yeah, so am I now. Let me introduce Chloe then, or Chloe, introduce yourself. So are you an Aston Villa supporter for the men's team that's come across to the women's team, or have you always supported women's football? What's your background?
So basically, I only ever supported the men's side up until the World Cup. I wasn't too interested in it. It was my dad that got me to watch it because I was like, nah, it's not going to be as good as the men's football. And when I saw England play, I just fell in love with the women's side. And I was like, it's only right now if I support the women's team. So I started following them last season.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same as me. So I've only started watching it since United have started. What are your thoughts on the Man United women's team this season?
I think they're doing really well. They was top of the table at one point, weren't they?
Yeah.
I definitely feel like they've exceeded in expectations. I was thinking they'd be more around 5th or 6th place, but to be in the top 3 is fantastic for them, and bringing over the Americans as well. I think Heath has been fantastic for you. When you played us last time, I thought she was just causing havoc for our defenders.
Yeah, I think it's definitely been an exciting season for the fans. Obviously, the last month we've been a bit deflated because we lost 3 out of 4 games. But generally, when you sit back and have a look at where we've come from to where we are now, it's definitely progress. Before we move on to the actual Villa game, I just want to hear Natalie and Ben's thoughts on the breaking news from last week. So, Nat, I mean, you love transfer talk more than anybody. What were your initial thoughts when we thought about we're going to sign that free agent?
Yeah, well, I think when it first came up, I was saying, "Oh, she's free. We should be looking at this." There was talk. I think there was talk of Leon, but I think that was from last year. Apparently, she was rejected, Leon. But there's talk of her being one of the best young players. I think she's only 25, so it's still young, but developing. Played a lot for Norway. She's their best player. One of their best players. Potential. She can do a lot. There's talk of her being world class. For me, when it was sort of broken that it is Man United, it looks like, and I think it's quite a strong link. I think it's likely to happen soon. But with Man United, who knows when soon is? It could be next week. But I was buzzing. I was confident. I think she's a kind of player. I've heard she's a kind of player who can play the 6, so that central defensive position. So when we have to take off Lad, I'm not saying we have to take off, but if Lad has to come off, there's that someone else there that can come. I've said young, not young, she's 25, but just seeing that Kristen's courage, not young, 25, still got a lot of potential though. She played a 6, but then I've been told her position is 8 as well. It's also really good. So potentially Jackie needs a rest, Taylor needs a rest. Bring her on, someone who's still of that ilk, and she scores a lot of goals. I've seen her stats, a lot of forward passing, a lot of goal creations. For me, that's what we've been missing a bit. I don't know how Case will set up in it. Seeing people talking on Twitter about Diamond or different aspects. But for me, this is what we've always wanted. We want 2 quality players for every position, and I think she adds to that now. So it's adding competition to your lads, your Jackies, your Katies, and for me, she's available now. Let's go out and get her.
Christian's in the comments. People might recognise Christian from Twitter or our show a couple of months ago, or a month or so ago. So, Christian, if you've got any information, drop it in the comments. Ben, what were your thoughts on the signing? It came as a surprise, but do you think it's like was needed right now, or do you think that we've got her now so that nobody else would get her? What are your thoughts?
Well, with Natalie, mate, I just think if you could add to your squad at any point, add to your squad, mate. And if it gives us strength in depth, we need strength in depth, especially in midfield, mate. You know what I mean? Haley Ladd, if she picks up an injury, you know, there's not really anyone else that could play that CDM role too well, I don't think. I say too well, maybe that's probably not the right thing to say. I just think no one naturally that can play the way Haley Ladd plays. So if it's another CDM that's comfortable playing that position, I think it's a no-brainer for me. You go out and you get these players signed up on the dotted line. And it is, as Natalie said, it's all about that strength in depth. You need at least 2 quality players for every position to push us on further, you know, to get us challenging with the Chelseas, with the Cities, you know, that gets us right up in the mix, you know, week in, week out, leading that table week in, week out. You know, you look at the size of Chelsea's squad, mate, that's unreal. That's unbelievable. And that's the kind of size that we need. You need them couple of decent players in every single position to go forward challenging, because otherwise injuries can really, really affect you. You know what I mean? If you pick up a couple of injuries, a couple of knocks in certain positions, and you've not got any cover in them positions, then you're having to look at less experienced players to maybe come in and fill that void. And sometimes less experienced players may work, and sometimes they may take their time. You know what I mean? It has to be a gradual process. So I think it's a no-brainer for me, mate. Get them signed on the dotted line. Let's get as many players in as we possibly can that will add to our squad depth and add to our quality to our squad to make us overall a better team in terms of overall squad value.
That's a bold statement from Christian on the screen right there, saying that she's a better all-round player than Ladd and Zellum. And we have actually seen a couple of times this season where we've rested Ladd and we've played Zellum, Jackie and Tooney in the centre. And it's not always worked out, has it? So maybe this is something that we can potentially do. Now we've got that option. Thank you to everybody in the comments.
Well, I've heard, John, should be challenging Jackie. She's an 8 as well. So, you know, 6 and 8, you know. So for me, there's no best midfielder. It's who's playing the best at the time. And, you know, you know what I mean? I think no position should be safe for anyone. So just add that competition to everyone.
And I think that's it. I think this season there has been a lot more competition, apart from, say, for example, the CDM role, because we know the Haley Lads are best at that. But if you're saying that she can play a bit further forward, then all of a sudden we can start playing Tooney out wide or resting Tooney, or if Jackie's off form, then play her. I suppose with like Lucy Stan obviously being out for a little while as well. Obviously we know she's back now, but it just adds that more strength in depth, doesn't it? And we don't know who's going to be leaving in the summer, so you know potentially that is strength in depth that we need. Matt, I mean, any more thoughts on that? I know we touched on it on our last show, but now that you've had a bit more time to think, what are your thoughts on that signing or potential signing? Not quite a signing just yet.
Yeah, I think it just, like you've all kind of touched on, it boosts numbers, doesn't it? I think, you know, and I said this the other day on our past couple of shows, we fall apart without Haley. And, you know, I've always said, and I'll always stick by it, that sort of Katie's not a attacking midfielder. Sorry, is attacking midfielder, not a defensive midfielder. And she kind of, you know, gets played there. So I think for me, you know, if we're looking at a sort of spare defensive midfielder, brilliant. You know, the more the merrier, get the numbers in, especially when we've got injuries and we've got sort of hopefully Champions League next year to look forward to as well. I think we're going to need sort of bodies and quality coming in that can kind of, you know, push others on to, you know, up their own game, really.
Yeah, and that's what we got now. And just fingers crossed. I don't know anything about her. Obviously, Christian speaking highly of her in the comments. It'll just be interesting to see what that level is, and will she settle right away? Because we're expected her to come in, obviously, in the next 2 or 3 weeks if the deal is actually done. there's some big games ahead, and to rush straight in, even though she might be brilliant, maybe when she's at full speed, she's coming to a new country, and it doesn't mean that she's going to hit the ground running. So it will be actually interesting to see how she's used.
Yeah. John, for me as well, she's not been playing since December as well. I think around when City played in the Champions League, that was one of her last competitive games. I know then the team won the league, and she's just been training in Norway since. So obviously, when it is all done, it's going to take a while for her to get up to speed. And I think everyone is gassing her up, hyping her up, and excited, which we always are for transfers. But we do see some people hit the ground running, like Honor, she's just bang, gone at it, and it's on. But then some signings need a couple of months, need a full year, maybe sometimes, before you properly get into it, because it's a totally different league to what she's played in. So I think she's going to need time, but she's a quality player. So it's like what we just said, we need to add in quality players, 2 players for every position now. I mean, I could even maybe see us getting another midfielder in the summer. I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, but that's the kind of area you want to be looking at, always boosting what you've got.
It'll be interesting to hear what Chloe's thoughts are on your transfer window that you just had back in January. I think one player came in, didn't she, just before January. But would you have liked to have seen more additions to your team over January?
I would have liked to have seen another centre-back being brought in, if I'm honest. Our defence hasn't been the best. We concede a lot of goals, and the defence has made a lot of mistakes at times in the season. And if we want to stay up, that obviously needs to improve.
I was going to ask you this towards the end of the show, but now that you brought it up, I mean, do you think can you see yourself staying in the WSL? I think you're about 4 points away from Bristol at the moment.
Yeah, I can see us staying up, and I think it'll be because of Mana and the defence slowly getting better. Mana's she's just been a quality signing for us. She's already on 2 goals and 1 assist, I think.
We'll come back to Aston Villa shortly. I just want to get a few thoughts on the rest of the international break first, and then we'll come on to a bit of a preview. Matt did a bit of an international roundup then, so I know it seems like a couple of weeks ago now, but I can't remember everything that's happened. You might have done, but can you remember who's played, who's won, who scored? Just for anybody in the comments who's watching that may not have, obviously feel free to jump in and help anyone that you forgot. But just the ones that come to your mind, Matt.
USA obviously won the She Believes. Kristen had a very good tournament for me. I saw brief bits of sort of games and highlights. Ivana has made a Brazil debut. She come on for 25 minutes the first game. I think the second game she started on the right. Tooney, obviously, a big one for me. Come on at half-time, scored a penalty, so delighted with that. Millie Turner got a call up, but stayed on the bench. She wasn't brought on. And yeah, like Nat touched on before, Kirsty Hansen got her first Scotland goal, very good goal as well. Jane Ross bagged a couple. We've seen Spain qualify for the Euros. So yeah, things have pretty much, slowly come together now in terms of finishing off the Euro qualification and playoffs and things. It's a bit of a clearer picture now. So yeah, it's done and out the way. And then I think I'm sure we've got another one coming up in March. I don't like, talking and Nat shaking her head. I knew she wouldn't agree. Don't like them coming up too quick. So I think, we now need to sort of settle on the league and hopefully bring back the FA Cup, but we'll see.
Nat, I mean, Matt's just mentioned there, quite a few things that have gone well for us. That's a massive confidence boost, isn't it now? Just what we needed. So obviously, we just mentioned a few players there. Kristen Press did well. Can you see maybe her playing? Do you reckon she will play in a slightly different position now when she returns?
Well, she did really well. She played on the wing, I think, pretty much all 3 games. And I know there's a clamour. And I know people will come on this and tell me how she's a winger and how she should have been playing on the wing from the start. But for me, I've talked about it on Twitter as well. It's like an outside forward that she played. So she isn't hugging that touchline, but she's on the edge of the box and she can come in. And that's what her goal versus Brazil, I think it was. She was sort of on the edge of the box. It came to her and she beat a few players and then just slotted it in. And for me, that's why I think Katie likes to play her on that in the middle, because but she'll probably want a bit more flexibility, fluidity, moving. I think we saw it versus Everton, where Tooney was coming inside and she was pulling outside, and when the way she makes direct runs. But for me, I think Craney touched on it. Fuso was playing on the wing, and again, I don't think she's a winger. I think she's a number 10 because some of the runs that she was making, some of the passing, I think she was pre-assist, I like to call it, to the one before the assist. He was involved with that with Brazil when they scored one of their goals. It's all good news. And I mean, Hansen, for me, that's an out-and-out winger. She hugs that touchline. She goes up and down it. And, you know, like I said, with this Boarisa coming in, we could see potentially, I don't know, 2 forwards. So you could see Leslie, hopefully when she's back fit, playing as that sort of stable one that's always in the middle, but then have press moving around her. So have Leslie that 9 and have press sort of moving around her, have Tooney on the wing, have Hanson on the wing. You know, unfortunately, Leah, we've sort of heard that she's probably going to be out for a good couple of months. Tobin's out for a good couple of months. But for me, I think it's time now to see different things, mix it up, formations, fluidity, creativity. Like Tooney's back at it, banging in the goals. Let's see more from her. I think I liked when she was on that wing. So maybe, you know, we might see something different if they do play her on the wing. I don't know. It's an exciting time, and I think having that break, more going away, doing their own thing, coming back, it's been great for us. And now I think we're all ready for Sunday.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think Casey might be forced to make changes, even if he's not in the formation, but like see people up front that we may not have seen that much of so far this season. For example, Jess or Fuso. But I'm going to ask Ben. I'm going to throw Ben in there. Matt mentioned that Ross scored a couple of times. Is it maybe Jane Ross's turn to get a bit of a start as an edge and out number with Preston Hansen on either side, perhaps?
Maybe, mate. Maybe. You know, she's not seen very much of her this season, have we? Really? Let's be fair. You know, it could be well worth it. You know, maybe. You know, I'd be tempted in this game. If we're cruising this game, I'd be tempted to give her 20, 25 minutes. Chuck Jane Ross on, just see what she could do. And if she get a couple of goals, mate, it'll just boost the confidence. Or even if she's only in back once, that'll just be a huge weight off her shoulders, boost the confidence, and it'll probably, you know, it'll probably stand as a good stead as well in a way, because if we do start dropping injuries again, you know, especially in the forward position, there's a player there that we've not really used all season that's had the confidence of going grabbing a couple of goals or a goal, whatever, you know what I mean, in a game, you know, where potentially we should be romping. No disrespect to Aston Villa, mate, but we should be absolutely hammering these. You know, I think it'll be good just to see her again, because it must be difficult as a player. You know, you've got a great goal scoring record internationally, and you're not involved too much at the minute with your club. It must be frustrating. It must be so frustrating, and not to be getting them up with other forwards injured, as we have at the minute. We've got a couple of forwards in, or a couple of players in the forward positions that have been in and out with injury. And we've hardly seen her, and so I just think if we are cruising this game for 2025, just go your ball.
Oh,
You know,
We're losing Ben. He'll come back shortly as soon as he's realised.
Yeah.
But I do just want to hear what Chloe has to say, in the sense of we are playing you at, well, let's put it this way, Villa's lucky that the fact that we've got Tobin Heath out, Lauren James, Leah Galton, Alessia Russo. We've got 4 fantastic strikers that all us Man United fans love. And I think you're kind of lucky in that sense. But is there anyone that you're kind of looking out for at the moment who you're kind of scared of at all, who you don't want to play against? Is there anyone that comes to mind?
Well, you said Heath's out, so she's the one that scares me the most out of everyone in the United squad. In all honesty, she's quick, she's skillful on the ball, and like I said, like, she just runs around our defence, so I'm kind of glad she's out.
Yeah. Yeah, she's obviously one of our players of the season so far, and she's a massive loss. And as soon as she was out injured, we've had a dip in form. So, on that note, while we talk about Tobin Heath, there's a fantastic podcast out. Maybe we can link it somewhere. Yeah, so I haven't heard it myself yet. It only got released a couple of hours ago, roughly. So I really want to check that out, and I suggest all the Tobin Heath fans who are going to watch this. Go on,
I'd advise anyone to watch it, because for me, it just sounds like she could potentially be here next year. Sounds like she loves this club. And like what Chloe's just said, she runs rings around everybody. And for me, they sort of said it at the start, and I've sort of said it on other places, she's like our Bruno. For anyone who watches the men's team, that influence that he's had on this team, she has had exactly the same influence. She's making everyone play better. She's raising the standards, and everything that he's done, she's doing exactly the same for the women.
Definitely, yeah. Ben, we did lose you there. Your audio was a bit crackly, but I do just want to hear what your thoughts are now on Mary Earps and Hayley Ladd's new contracts. So, one, are you surprised by either of them? I doubt you are. And two, what do you think this now means for the future of their careers as well?
Mate, I'm proper buzzing with both of them, mate. Firstly, Hayley Ladd, I think we said it on the Twitter live. I think I said she brings something to the team that we don't really have. That extra bite and that the player that likes to do the dirty work a little bit. Someone that's not afraid to get their foot stuck in. It's someone that's not afraid to snap at people's ankles. Someone that's not afraid to do the bit of the dark arts. And she could play football as well. She could play football. Her passing range, I think, is very, very underrated. So I was buzzing about it. I think they're both signed to June 2023 with an option of an extra year. So I'm buzzing about that. And Mary Earps, mate, is a no-brainer for me. I don't understand why some people are against it. I ain't gonna Scooby-Doo why there would be, but Mary Earps is a no-brainer for me. And on the goalkeeping thing, I think I said it before. I think it was one of my videos that I did on my YouTube channel, where I said that whether we need to get Mary lined up, and then whether you bring in an extra goalkeeper for a little bit of experience to back her up, or be challenger for the number one spot. Because I think, in my opinion, Emily Ramsey and Fran Bentley both need to go out on loan. They need to be playing football at their age, week in, week out, to continue their development, because both are hardly getting a look at the minute. And it reminds me a little bit of the McAlson situation with McAlson. And you should play it every now and then for the devs. That's no good. You need to be letting them play week in, week out, first team football somewhere, whether it be in the Championship or another WSL side. Mm-hmm. Just letting them get the experience, and then maybe bring in another goalkeeper that has that little bit more experience that will challenge Mary Earps. So it just baffles me when I see on social media people going in on it. I'm like, why? It's a no-brainer for me. You know what I mean? And people are like blaming her for City. Mate, it was defence there was the defence that fault, not the goalkeeper. We can't defend. We don't deserve to win. So for me, mate, Mary Earps, both of them, absolute no-brainers. And long may we continue building our squad, building upon these good players. Like we said earlier on, bringing two decent players in for every position. And let's get us challenging up there with the likes of Chelsea in terms of squad depth, because that's what we're going to need, especially if we're going to go into European football next season, or being well, we need that strength and depth then to play in these competitions. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You need in a way sometimes you need to be spoilt in riches a little bit, in positions. You look at the men's team, for example. Look how many goalkeepers. They've got more goalkeepers than they have centre halves. You know what I mean? We've got three of the best goalkeepers probably in Europe playing it for United: De Gea, Henderson, and Romero. You know what I mean? And but at the same time, you need to be giving people opportunities as well. And I don't think Emily Ramsey and Fran Bentley are at that stage now in their careers where they can challenge someone like a Mary Earps, who is an international goalkeeper, for that number one slot. So I think maybe letting them both go out on loan next season, full season out on loan, let them get experience, and maybe if we can bring another experienced goalkeeper in, either to help Mary Earps, to challenge Mary Earps, you know what I mean? Because we look at the challenge you look at the men's team, what's happened to David De Gea and Dean Henderson, they're both challenging each other, and it's pushing David De Gea to become back up to getting up to the levels where he's supposed to be at. So that can only be a good thing. So I just think it's very, very stupidly done again by Casey Stoney. 2 decent contract extensions there with an option of an extra year. Ding dang do, that'll do for me. Let's build on that.
I think I said on the last show that just because Mary Earps has got that contract extension, we're all happy about that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to be playing week in, week out next season, because it all depends on what happens this summer. But I'm really grateful that she's staying. And Matt, what were your thoughts on the goalkeeper situation from what Ben's just said? Because he has made a couple of good points there. With 2 of our goalkeepers hardly ever getting any game time because of the teams that we seem to draw against in the cup games. Is it worth maybe just loaning them both out and getting another top quality goalkeeper in? Can you see that kind of thing happening over the summer?
I'd hope so. I agree with what Ben said. Yeah, I think obviously Rambo went out. Well, they both did, didn't they? They both had spells at Sheffield. I think Emily's was cut short last year and she made 2 or 3 appearances. But it comes down to, obviously, Mary's been playing the game for years. She's very experienced. And we've got 2 young keepers on the bench, which if you threw them into a league game, you know, we may not see the kind of top-level performance yet due to inexperience. But I think I caused a bit of a stir yesterday because I said, I'd take Sophie Bagley on a free if Bristol went down. And I think, you know, it's like Ben said with the men, you've got sort of Dean Henderson got his loan, played for Sheffield, it's pushed on David. You've seen it with Luke Shaw as well. Alex Tellers came in and it's pushed Luke Shaw onto sort of better levels. So I think that competition where somebody's experienced enough to come in and say, look, I'm going to challenge you, I can take your spot potentially if you slip up. You know, we do need it. And we've all talked about in previous shows, you know, needing players in every position, not just goalkeeping, but for me, you know, buzzing with those 2 extensions, I think that's 2 players that I talk about a lot, along with Tooney and Lessie. So yeah, delighted. But Nat, I want to sort of hear your thoughts as well, because obviously I know you're, you know, big fan of you know Rambo quite well.
Yeah, well, Rambo for me, I think if she had that full season at Sheffield, if it wasn't cut short, she joined in January and the season ended in March. So what did she have? About 5 games? Wasn't good enough. And as she came into her form, really, with Sheffield, it was bang, lockdown, still training, but then all the season was ended. And obviously, this season, Bentley went on loan to Blackburn, but I think her, you know, unforeseen circumstances, but, you know, she's back with us, and that was cut short. I definitely think, whether it's, you know, I know you said Bagley there, or someone who I think would be good, who is out of contract, but they're not going to get funds for it, Hannah Hampton. Someone like that, but then that's a young keeper. So then will Rambo see that as, well, no, I'm supposed to be the young one getting chances. But I definitely do think Rambo needs a loan, whether it's going back to Sheffield, but they've got a decent keeper in there now. I don't know where she would go. Might even go Birmingham, you know, if Hampton does go somewhere. But, you know, go back and work with Carla Ward or something like that, wherever happens there. For me, I can see why people say, though, Endler, because she's a top quality goalkeeper, world class. I'm not saying that doesn't mean I don't want Mary to sign a contract. Obviously, I'm so delighted that she did. I'm so happy that now her sole focus, she said it in the paper, her sole focus isn't England, isn't Olympics, Europe, all that rubbish. It's Man United. That's all she's thinking about. Man United getting the Champions League, Man United winning the title. And I think that's... you know, focus mentality is what you need. And I think that sort of helped her a bit, because for me, I think just before Christmas, she made a few mistakes. West Ham, I can't remember any others, but, you know, so the people were saying, oh, you know, do we need a keeper like this in the Champions League if we do get there? She has saved us a lot. But like I said, I can understand why people are saying Endler, but then Endler would want to be playing every game. I know that Chelsea, they brought in, when they were in the Champions League, they brought in Berger, but they still had Lindahl. So for me, you can have 2 world-class keepers playing for you at the same time. Who knows? I think, you know, I don't know. We might see a keeper leave and then, like you say, one go on loan and then bring someone in. You know, for me, I think, like you say, Rambo, she does need that loan time. She was due to have it and she missed out on it. And I think, no, it's not set her back, but I think if she had had that full season at Sheffield, that half that she was doing, we would have seen a different player now. I think she could have been challenging Mary a lot more, but obviously 5 games isn't enough to get any kind of development in your body, and it's a shame. That's what sort of COVID sort of stolen from some of our players. But yeah, who knows what's going to happen? I can see them definitely bringing in a keeper. And, no one's position safe now. And that's it. And that's the way it should be.
I think that's, first of all, on Thursday, we've got another show regarding Mary Earps with Andy and Zoe. So I'm looking forward to hearing their thoughts. 2 massive Mary Earps fans. So I'm really looking forward to hearing their opinion on that. But yeah, also, you need 2 quality players who can play in Champions League, because what happens if one does get injured or, touch wood, that won't happen. But if they do, you've got to get some experience in the goal in the big games, haven't you? So it's not just about just the occasional cup game. You've got to think worst case scenario. There's a question on screen for Chloe about how does she feel about Mana as a new signing. What your thoughts on that one?
Oh, I absolutely love her. Like, she helps out with defence. She can help out with midfield. She gets round players. Like, I don't know if you saw with the Arsenal game, she had like between 3 to 5 players round her at a time and was able to get round her. Her passing capability is fantastic. The goal she scored against Spurs was just unreal. Yeah, I'm really pleased with her.
Matt, I know you follow WSL a lot more than me. Have you had a chance to see much of her in action at all?
I did, yeah. Just like Chloe mentioned, then I saw the Spurs game, very good goal. And I think what's great is a link-up play going forward as well. I think she gives Villa sort of that extra spring in their attacking step. I mean, there's good players there. I've seen quite a bit of Chloe Arthur in the past as well. And I think, yeah, it's looking good. It's a young squad. I really like the fullback as well, as it seems you pronounce it, Caroline Seams.
Yeah, again,
it's looking good for them so far. I think they've got more than enough to stay up, and it'll be interesting to see what they do in the summer. For me, I'm not sure what's kind of gone on with the managerial thing, whether he's taking over, he's working alongside, but yeah, it's looking good for them so far.
We'll just talk about Villa. We've just got one more topic first. Obviously, the friendly game against Sheffield. So, thanks to Ivana, we managed to see a little something, like a 9-second clip. Natalie, just come on to yourself on this one. Just what are your first impressions of what we saw on that, or what we've heard on that one?
On the clip, or just the fact that Staniforth back? Well, Staniforth was back. She was making the runs. Number 10. Jess was as number 9. Martha was a right back. We looked good. Whoever put the cross in looked like a good cross. We don't know who put the cross in, but we were lucky that Ivana gave us that little crumb. And I think we got a bit of information. And then I know our friend M put out the score, the result. So, we're grateful. I think that's what we're seeing in women's football. We're seeing it grow. I remember when we first started talking about friendlies, you had to say it all in DMs and hide and all this. And now we're getting a little snippet, and we're getting the results posted on Twitter for everyone to see. But, I said something at the start with this. We don't. I know John Fry's just asking who scored. Still looking for that one. Still trying to find out. Obviously, the minute we know, try and let you know. But we're still oblivious to that one. But I'm just happy that, like you say, Staniforth. I think when Ivana posted it, was talking about a great run, and it was. It was a run right down the middle, and it nearly, resulted in a goal. I think the keeper came out, saved it. But she was in the right position at the right time, and that's just what we want to see from these players. I think she's not had the best of start. She started off injured. She started off cup-tied or something, or had a yellow card or some rubbish. So she couldn't play for us the first 3 games. And then she's come in and got injured. Just as for me, as she was building up, she played the game against Villa, because I know Jackie had to come off and she played most of that game. And, looking at it from the time, I didn't really think much of it, but I've seen little highlights of the game, and, she can move the ball, she's tackling in there. It's just an extra key to the clog, and I'm happy that she's back. It's giving us more depth in that midfield and more depth in positions, because hopefully now she can get some goals.
John Neville, nice to see you again, John, here week in, week out. Thank you very much. Can you ask Chloe why Emma Follis isn't getting any game time? What are your thoughts on that player, Chloe?
I'm not too sure, in all honesty. Like, she's had quite a few assists so far. Not that many, though. I think she's had about 3 to 5 assists, I think. But I feel like it's with Irabuchi coming in. Like, she's just fantastic, so no one's going to get in over her. If they do, they're going to have to really fight for it. And she usually swaps with Silver as well. And I've noticed she's got a lot more pace than Folly. So when we need to go on a counter-attack, which we've had to do quite a lot this season, she's perfect for that as she's got the speed. But, like, Follies can run as well, but Silver's definitely quicker.
So who do you think are the players then that we need to look out for in this game?
Oh, well, it depends who's playing, in all honesty, because we've got a few injuries at the minute. Like, Silver picked up a few niggles on international break, so she was out against Arsenal. And if she's back in time for the game against you lot, she's definitely one. Irabuchi, and we've got Pretzelberger out at the minute as well, and I think she's our best midfielder, but like I don't think she'll be back in time. So it's our midfield, in all honesty, that I think's been the best so far this season. They're scoring goals, they're getting assists, and our midfield is solid in my opinion.
Matt, what are your thoughts going into this game? And obviously, I just move around everybody just to kind of hear what they're kind of expecting to see from this game. So the last game we won 2-0. I think it was a last-minute second goal, so it wasn't as dominant as we thought. Going into that game, actually, we had Solskjaer one from head-wide treatment, and I think me and Natalie was there saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to press you down, and Aston Villa aren't going to be able to cope with our press." And it was only 1-0 up until about 85 minutes roughly. So I think we finished 2-0 last time. Can you see it being a 2-0 win this time, Matt? Or what are your thoughts on how this game's going to go?
I think it'll be interesting because, like the away game, it falls again, doesn't it, after internationals, and we seem to have a habit of internationals bad performance. But that said, obviously, I think having that break, what we have had, like I said before, getting people refreshed coming back, plus a little bit of a wobbly run beforehand, I'd like to think we've learnt something. And especially, I'm always confident in our ability at home. Sometimes maybe, I think that plays into our hands a bit. I think we're better at home. But yeah, I think I'm thinking more than 2. I'm thinking maybe 3 or 4 if we're on our game. And we don't have this sort of, like I say, after international break wobble where it takes us a bit to get going. But yeah, I think even, I'd just be happy just to get back to winning ways for me. I think, scoreline's brilliant for goal difference and things like that. But I think, listen, as long as we pick up those 3 points, listen, I'd take a 1-0 if need be. If we're going to be putting in, a bit of a dodgy performance, Mark's gone for a 2-1 Villa win. Fair play.
I was going to say just very, very quickly, if this was 2 or 3 weeks ago, that I wouldn't have laughed at that comment so much. That's just me being a confident United fan. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I really think that we needed this break, and I think with everything that's gone on internationally and all the talk off the pitch, and even just like this podcast has took our mind off things, and all the contract signings and new signings, it's exactly what we needed to kind of reset. So I definitely think that we're going to go in as favourites now and look to hit the ground running again. I do agree with what you said, Matt. Whenever we come off international break, it's a bit sluggish, but it's easy to say this, but I don't think we will this time. I think the morale will be up. I think everybody will be just up for it. But it does depend on who we play. Ben, Chloe mentioned their midfield being strong. Who do you see playing in our midfield against Aston Villa?
Ooh, good question, mate. Good question. I'd like to see Hansen out on the left. Because for Scotland, she played really, really well against Cyprus. I know people are going to say, "Oh, it's Cyprus, Ben. It was a cricket score." But I think she needs to change either side. So I think we'll probably see Hansen out on the left. Henry lads centrally, Ronan. I'm probably going to chuck. So I'll keep Tooney on the right, I think. I think Zellum will probably end up playing, and I think we're going to go with press up top. I just think that would be. I think that's the way I think we're set up, mate. But I just want to see Hansen out on the left. I reckon we should let her run at the fullback. Let her run at the fullback every time, because I think we're going to get absolute joy. I can't see it being anyone else. Really, to be fair, off the top of my head. If it goes standing force back as well now, so you hopefully we can, as I said, exactly the same with Jane Ross. We could give her a little bit of game time as well, 10, 15 minutes at the end, just to build up a little bit of match fitness, a bit of match rhythm. You know, that it'd be good to see her back, man, because I think she's another one that is yet to show what she can really do to this team. Bring for she's yet to prove herself yet in a red shirt. I think due to injuries and suspension and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So I think as soon as she's back, we get a few more minutes under her belt, we can gradually increase her game time. And I think going forward, Lucy Staniforth could be the player that really pushes us to cement hopefully our European place for next season, or even push us back up the league and get us challenging again, because people could still drop points left centre, mate. It's not a dumb thing yet. We're still thereabouts. So I'm hoping that it'll be an easy-ish game. I'm hoping. Someone's going to clip this up and go, Ben, you said it was an easy game. No disrespect to Aston Villa, but we should be blowing these out the water, mate. We should be. Hopefully, we can get our goal difference. Add to our goal difference. Because you never know. Numbers could even dictate it comes down to goal difference. So we can keep a clean sheet, add to the goals that we scored this season, and hopefully we could be a little bit more clinical in front of goal and just blow these out the water, mate. Because no disrespect to them, mate. We should be really, really, really adding to that goal difference, mate. And keeping a clean sheet. I just can't see nothing but a 3 points and a comfortable win for United.
I think if this was like 5 or 6 weeks ago, I'd probably agree with that. I think it's still a little bit uncertain to know what we're going to get after this international break, but I definitely expect to win. Maybe not as comfortable as John Fry said, a 10-0 win, but yeah, No, I
don't think it'd be as comfortable as that. Like, listen, to be fair, mate, I know we're always traditionally slow starters after the international break, but trust me, I just got a feeling that Casey's got it drill into the players. You're going to go out there and forget what's happened before the international break. Just go out there, enjoy your football, and just prove to people you're there where you belong in that top 3. You belong in them Champions League places. Just go out there and just give me the best performance you could give me. Let's just get back to winning ways and let's score a few goals. I think it's the perfect time, mate. It's the perfect time. You know what I mean? I'm a little bit worried. Don't get me wrong. I'm a little bit worried because we are traditionally slow after international break, but I think Casey would have it absolutely drilled into them.
Yeah.
Just go out there, give me the best that you can give me. You know what I mean? And I just think we've got a point to prove, mate. And a United team with a point to prove is always a United team worth looking out for. You know what I mean? Because with our backs up against the wall, we always usually deliver the goods. So hopefully, that's my thinking anyway. Whether I'm right or wrong, we'll find out.
Go on, Natalie. Go on. You go
No,
first.
I'm just going to say that comment
on
the screen. Chloe, would you settle for a point?
Oh, I'd be more than happy with a point. I think we're getting better and better as the games go on. I know that we lost to you 2 seasons ago. Was it 12-0, something like that? And the fact that that's gone down to 2-0 now, I'd be more than happy with a point. Yeah. For me, I know I think Blessing said it before. The person who I'm worried about is Iwabuchi. And for me, I think if we start slow, like we are known to do after international breaks, and I think we will start a bit slow because I think that's what we do. But then I think we'll score. For me, I will take a 1-0, a 2-0.
2-1. But I think John Fry's comments there, I know where Benny's saying Hansen on the wing, but for me, I think now there's all this clamour for her to go on the wing, and I think her performance is she deserves to be on the wing for Brazil. I just want to see what she can do. I think Jess deserves to be up front, and I'd put Hansen on the right and Tooney as a 10 again. And then, Jackie and Hayley, I don't know about whether then she might mix it up, and then Staniforth will come on. I just think we've got that depth. I've seen someone saying, is Leslie back? I don't think so. I know Craney might know more, but, I know she went off around the same time as, well, she's been out longer than Stanny. I know it's different injuries, but, we're expecting her any time now. I'm worried, like you said, like before when we played Villa, when we won 2-0, we were talking about 5-0 minimum. And no offense to Chloe or any Villa fans, Mark's in here, we were talking about 5-0 minimum because that's the standard that we were at. Tobin was running the show, and people are saying, Tobin, one-man team, but if we didn't have Bruno in our team for the men, where would we be? Where would we be? I think they even proved it, like we'd be something like 13th. We'd be down with Arsenal. But the thing is, though, it's not just him doing it. So it's not just Tobin doing it. He's raising everyone's game. He's putting that belief in everyone, and that's what she does. I think, definitely go and watch that listen to that podcast. But she's calm. She's horizontal. That's how they described it, and she's just so chilled. And I think no matter what, like that City game, 2-0 down, bang, we're going to go out there, we're going to show them, we're going to do this, bang, scored the goal, comebacks on, let's win the game, so close to winning it. And then the difference between that City game and the one that we've just seen is like chalk and cheese. And, I think that's her influence not being there. I mean, she's still around it, but I'm happy. For me, I think Ben said, about Staniforth coming back. I think we do need that experience. I think we do need that person just to take the young kids and just say, listen, calm it down now. We're winning here, or let's just get a goal and we're going to win this. I think versus Reading, we didn't really have that. And that's what makes me a bit more nervous about it. Because even though, Reading are a good side, they're our bogey side, for me, we should be winning a game like Reading. I can take getting beat by City. I know it's gonna happen, but it's more the Reading one for me. And I know where Chelsea fans just said, they lost to Brighton. It's these games that really, I think even we could lose all our game. We could lose against Arsenal or something and still finish if we win all our other games. So it's all really in our hands to get this third place. Hell, even move up the table if others drop. But for me, we need that experience. We need that player who's going to take it by the scruff of the neck and finish it out, close it out for us. Who knows whether it be Leslie coming back, whether it be Bo Reese coming in, Staniforth's back. I know LJ's not back, but she's training again, and we just need that someone everyone to stay calm on the pitch. If you don't score within the first 10 minutes, don't worry. If you hit the post, don't worry. Just keep playing your game and keep Iwabuchi quiet. Even if Iwabuchi scores in the first minute, don't worry. Keep going. Keep playing your game. Don't get anxious. And just see it out for the win.
I'm just going to go back to the fact that we've got all these injuries and we keep mentioning the people who are out, but don't forget who we have still got, who can still bang in goals. We just haven't seen them much this season. I don't need to name them, but we all know who they are, and they could all come on and score. It just depends on if they're going to get much game time. We see, like, if Press just play up front, then and Tooney out wide, then we're probably not going to see those strikers like a Jess or a Jane Moss. But what if Tooney plays in the centre and Casey does something different and doesn't play Hayley Ladd again? So that, last time when we play the easy teams, that's when Hayley Ladd gets rested. Can you see that kind of happening this weekend?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, it's an option, isn't it? I mean, you know, we've got options where, like Nat said, you know, Staniforth's back, and you know, I don't think Staniforth will be ready to go in straight away, but it is possible, like you say, that maybe Hayley or, you know, possibly even Jackie. It just depends if we're looking at resting players, although I'd like to think with the time that some of them have had off that, you know, it wouldn't necessarily mean that we have to rest them. I think we need to go out now and kind of, for me, prove a bit of a point that we've got past our wobble and start with our strongest team. But I think, you know, I'd go with what Nat said before. I think for me, I want to see Jess up top and I want to see a central. And, you know, like she said, there's been a lot of talk for press, so let's put press in Leah's position, try Jess, you know, up top. I'd keep Tooney central with Jackie, Hayley in there too, and Hanson out wide on the right, and just see what we get. You know, there's, for me, no harm in mixing it up and trying things. And I think we've got to stick with our midfield three for me of Hayley, Jackie, Tooney, because that's been the core of everything in our success this season. And then just see where it takes us, hopefully. You know, even the shuffle might come at the back. For me, I talked about last week about, you know, I'd love to see Maria alongside Millie with Amy T at right back and Ona at left. So, you know, there's always options, really, isn't there, for just, you know, having a bit of a play around and seeing where it takes us.
I just want to use this opportunity just to like kind of end the show, just listening to Chloe about what her expectations are for the rest of the season. So, and if any of you guys have got any questions, just feel free to just jump in there. But I'm guessing that you're expecting to like stay in the WSL. What about finishing above Birmingham? Can you see that happening? Obviously, a Birmingham derby, a Birmingham rivalry there.
I would like to finish above Birmingham, you know, due to that like rivalry, like. But like I think Ward's coming, and I think she's done a good job with like fantastic considering we didn't know what was going to happen with them at the start of the season, and yeah, so I reckon it'll be tight, but it is possible, I reckon.
And there is just a comment about how big is that rivalry. Obviously, like in the women's game as opposed to the men's game. Do you feel that rivalry there with Birmingham, or I mean, do you know any Birmingham fans at all?
Yeah, I'm actually friends with a Birmingham fan, so me and him have quite a bit of banter on the daily. I wouldn't say the rivalry's there as much with the women as it is with the men's side. But I'm just looking forward to fans being allowed back and actually experience that proper derby like.
Matt, what are your thoughts on that? Birmingham Villa, who can you kind of see finishing the highest, and you know, what are your thoughts on towards the end of the season where you see both Birmingham teams?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about, haven't we, sort of how good Carla Ward has done considering sort of finances and the number of players they've got and injuries, etc. And obviously she's had to borrow a couple of loans. But I think, I don't know, it just depends to me. I think the running is going to be interesting, isn't it? You know, we talk about, I'm just looking now, Aston Villa's fixtures. They've got to play West Ham twice. They've got to play Bristol and Brighton. So for me, they're all winnable games. I think, you know, if they... like I said before, they'll comfortably stay up. You know, I think they sat down in 10th now. I think whether they can pick Birmingham and go, you know, one spot ahead remains to be seen. I think it's doable, like I said. But listen, I think, you know, coming where they are at the minute, or even one place higher, isn't a bad season, you know, considering it's been a competitive league this year. And obviously, finances are getting bigger towards the top of the table and more clubs are putting in money, e.g. Everton this season. So, you know, I think if they can, you know, finish, like I say, round about where they are, compete with Birmingham for that spot, you know, and who knows, they may even run together and be able to sort of look at Tottenham in 8th, because Tottenham haven't been great recently. And then it's just a case of, you know, like I said, kicking on in summer, keep hold of sort of your better players, recruit as best you can and go from there. But yeah, I think, like I say, you know, from what I've seen of Villa this year, and I've only seen sort of 3 or 4 games, including ours as well against them, you know, they've looked all right. Like I say, young team. A lot of new signings came in the summer, but, you know, that can only be a positive when they all start to gel. And like I say, you know, beat the teams in and around you, and you always stand half a chance for me.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Maria's just mentioned what areas do you think need strengthening in the summer. Chloe, you did mention centre-backs earlier. Is there any players that you've got in mind that you would like to kind of steal from another club, or any positions that kind of come out at you at all?
Well, like I said, I think our defence needs help because, like, our defence, we've been like mixing and matching like all season long. It's like we haven't got that perfect lineup, and think our full backs are perfect, in all honesty. I just feel like the centre backs, we need like an experienced centre back as well. I know we've got like Anita, but like I feel like she's better in midfield. But with Marcus coming in now, we're mainly playing centre backs instead of our full backs. So I would like to see something happen with the defence and maybe just bring in a few more quality wingers as well.
Chloe, you've got a lot of nice comments in the comments, so thank you for coming on. We do need some predictions before we all go. So I'm going to say probably a 3-0. Natalie, how about yourself, mate?
I'm going to go 2-0 United.
2-0, okay. Ben, over to yourself, mate.
Well, I've got to stick my neck out because I've been saying we're going to. I'm going to 4-0.
4-0, okay. So we've had 2, a 3, a 4. Matt, is it going to be a 5 or a 1?
No, I'm not going to go that high, John. I'm thinking that similar lines to you. I think 3-0. I think, like I said before, it might take a little while to get going and sort of, get sort of the, what should we call it, pre-international sort of worries out of our system. But I think once we get the first sort of goal, the first couple, I think, sort of 3-0 is a bit more realistic for me.
Chloe, yourself?
I honestly think 3-0, but 3-1 if we're looking, if Irabuchi can get in there first.
I don't want to go 1. I definitely don't want to go 1-0 down because then it's just going to start getting a little bit. A lot of people saying obviously United wins. Some saying that quite a bit like 4-1, 5-0. I don't think it'll be that much. I'd like it to be, as Ben mentioned earlier. We do need to claw back some goal average. But as I think Matt said at the start, or yourself, Natalie, just a win would be enough, wouldn't it, just to get us going again, going into that Arsenal game. We have come to the end of the show, guys. That was really fun, just to kind of get another fan on, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the weekend. Thank you to everybody in the comments. Thank you to everybody who.
John, can I just say, 23 likes, by the way. We've had 23 likes today on the video. Thank you very much for all the likes.
Well, there's still 26 people watching, so we still need another 3 at least. Put your thumbs up.
Well, yeah, that's true, mate. But I just thought I'd just shout out 23 likes, mate. I'm buzzing with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And stick a thumbs up if you're happy, just to see Chloe on the channel as well. So hopefully we'll get a few more there. We have got a show tomorrow live on Twitter. That's at 8 o'clock. It is 8 o'clock, isn't it, Matt?
It is 8 o'clock, yeah. Case was the only appreciation.
Okay, so let's look forward to that one. That's on our Twitter account, not the All For United one, the All For United WFC. So make sure that you get the right account. Natalie, thanks for coming back on again. We missed you last week, but brilliant to get you back on. Thank you very much.
I'm back now, happy.
That's it, man. You're good. It's all good. Any last words from yourself there, Chloe?
No, just thank you. It was good talking to you all.
Brilliant.
Can I ask Chloe something? If you could give us Jack Grealish in the summer, I'd be very, very happy. Thank you very much.
No chance, not happening. Not
Excellent. I think we missed that chance last season, to be honest. Lovely. Thank you to everybody, and we will see you again on YouTube Thursday and Twitter tomorrow. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, guys.